The Salesforce Einstein telemetry engine is still logging your behavioral data right now, and CNIL can't stop it. Every CRM interaction, every customer record your team touches, every query your sales org runs is feeding a persistent identifier profile. France's top data regulator sent the order. Salesforce acknowledged it. The harvesting never stopped. Einstein is Salesforce's artificial intelligence layer, the feature they told enterprise customers would predict sales outcomes, flag at-risk deals, and surface the next best action. That's the official story. Companies paying for Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and Marketing Cloud all got Einstein bundled in. The pitch was clean. Feed it your customer data and it learns. Optimize your pipeline. Close more deals. It was sold as a productivity tool, a machine learning engine sitting inside your CRM, crunching your numbers. What Salesforce didn't publish in the product brochure was what Einstein does with that data after it learns, or where those logs go, or how long they stay there. Here's what the telemetry logs actually capture. Every time a sales rep opens a contact record, Einstein fires a telemetry handshake back to Salesforce infrastructure. Not a crash report, not an error flag. A behavioral event. Which record, which fields were opened, how long the session lasted, which email threads were accessed, which opportunities were viewed before the deal was updated. That data flows out of your organization's Salesforce instance and into Salesforce's own model training infrastructure. The persistent identifier tied to each event isn't anonymized. It's a compound key, your org ID, your user ID, and a session token that can be cross-referenced across months of activity. Security researchers first documented this in audit trail exports in 2022. The logs showed outbound telemetry pings that didn't match Salesforce's published data processing agreements. Enterprise customers filed formal complaints. Data protection officers flagged the discrepancy, and it's still running. CNIL, France's Commission nationale de l'informatique et des libertés, opened a formal investigation in 2023 after receiving coordinated complaints from European enterprise customers. Under GDPR Article 28, a data processor cannot use customer data for its own model training without explicit consent and a lawful basis documented in writing. CNIL issued a formal notice. Salesforce's legal response acknowledged the data flows. They updated their documentation. They issued a revised data processing addendum, the contract every enterprise customer signs. CNIL reviewed the updated language, and then the investigation quietly stalled. No fine was published. No corrective order was enforced. The revised addendum contained a clause, one clause, and that clause is why the harvesting never actually stopped. Here's the mechanism. And here's the part nobody reported. CNIL already knew about it when they accepted the revised addendum. Salesforce's updated data processing addendum drew a legal distinction between two categories of data. First, customer data, the records your company owns. Second, usage data, the behavioral telemetry generated by interacting with the platform. Under the new language, usage data is classified as Salesforce proprietary operational data, not your data, theirs. The legal argument is that when your employee navigates a contact record, the behavioral signal generated by that action belongs to Salesforce, not to your organization. It's the same architecture Google uses for search. The same logic Facebook applied to behavioral targeting for years. The interaction is yours. The pattern it generates is theirs. That distinction isn't clearly prohibited under GDPR. Article 6 lawful basis can be claimed under legitimate interests. Specifically, Salesforce's legitimate interest in improving its own product. CNIL's enforcement window requires proving that the legitimate interest override is disproportionate to the data subject's rights. Salesforce's legal team has maintained that position across 3 rounds of formal correspondence. The telemetry handshakes keep firing. The persistent identifier profiles keep building. Model keeps training on behavior pulled from inside your company's CRM, and it's still running. What does this mean for your data right now? If your company uses any Salesforce product with Einstein features enabled and Einstein is on by default in most enterprise tiers, your employees' behavioral patterns are being continuously logged and transmitted. Not your customer records, your usage patterns, how your team moves through the CRM, which data they look at, how often, in what sequence. The compound identifiers built from that telemetry can reconstruct the internal decision-making patterns of your entire sales organization. Competitor intelligence analysts have noted that CRM behavioral telemetry is the highest signal dataset available for predicting corporate strategy and deal pipeline health. You can redact a contract. You can protect a spreadsheet. You cannot hide how your team navigates a live sales pipeline. That behavioral map is already built. It's sitting in Salesforce infrastructure right now, the same infrastructure CNIL formally investigated and quietly walked away from. Salesforce has 17 direct competitors. It tracks enterprise buying behavior through the same CRM those competitors' own customers use. The behavioral telemetry tells Salesforce exactly how enterprise buyers make purchasing decisions, including which competing platforms they evaluate and when. The one question nobody at CNIL ever put in writing: who benefits when a regulator accepts a legal distinction that was authored by the company under investigation? And why did the inquiry close the moment that clause was signed?